24 months, 730 days since I first downloaded Unity. And throughout these years, I've made something that I genuinely enjoy. But this isn't a story about success, but one about failure. A story of how dreams don't always work. But to fully understand why game development is such a big deal for me, we need to travel back 8 years to March 14, 2013. It's my birthday, but more importantly, the day I got my second ever console and the console that I've made the most memories with, the Xbox 360. And yes, I'm dumb for not waiting for a few months for the PS4, but moving on. I almost got addicted to gaming. I used to play games for hours on end, and whenever I played these games, I always had this question in the back of my head. How did they make this? And even after I got out of my gaming phase, this question still loomed in the back of my head. Now let's travel 4 years forward when I received my first ever laptop, the HP Pavilion X360, the laptop that I still use to this day. I didn't really try game development until a few months in later when I downloaded Fortnite on my laptop. That's when I discovered Unreal Engine and all the amazing possibilities it had and the crazy games made with it, including Fortnite, Tekken, Street Fighter, Dragon Ball FighterZ, and many more. I realized that to make games you didn't need to be a part of a massive studio, and I suddenly found my lost passion for game development and immediately downloaded it. I worked on an FPS game using a tutorial. I worked on it day and night for the entire summer vacation, but I ended up giving up halfway through because of how complex it was for me. I didn't do any more game development for a long time until the pandemic started. I was in a terrible place in my life. I had no purpose and felt like my life was crumbling. My grades were at an all-time low and I was all alone. I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to get out of this mess. You know how they say when one door closes, another one opens. And that's exactly what happened. Out of nowhere, YouTube recommended this video to me, and for the second time, I got back into game development and downloaded Unity. I started falling in love with Unity and finding a true purpose in my life. I worked on making my game day and night, and within a few weeks, I made my first ever game using a tutorial by Brackeys. It wasn't the best game in the world or anything crazy, it was just a cube that dodged other cubes, but it was a big deal for me nonetheless. I'd finally created my first ever game. But I knew I could do better. So I started working on trying to turn my game into a mobile game. So I added some UI, wrote some code to try and make the game work with touch. And a few weeks later, I had a mobile game. I also added a few more game modes to truly give it a hyper casual feel. This was a good thing as I started learning more about game development and coding without just following one single tutorial. I also added a really cool scrolling menu which I still think looks kinda cool. After I completed the game, like any other game developer, I started working on an FPS game which I'm still currently working on and hope to release someday. I added the basic things like movement, guns and enemies. I also added a lot of other cool things like wall running, a boomerang knife, a shield and a lot more. If you want to see in-depth videos on the progress and want to see what the game is about, you can. All the devlogs are up on my channel. I also made many small games along the way, like a game for the Sidemen, which was my first ever 2D game, and started exploring things like pixel art, 2D animations, and a lot of cool things. Again, the game wasn't great, but it was my first actual working project that I could release. I created sprites, found ways of animating my object and giving the player the ability to move, and even creating a 2D enemy AI. Using the same knowledge, I also made a game for Dani, as he's the main reason I started game developing again, and I thought it was a cool idea. And well, it was. The video is now my most viewed video on my channel. I also made a game for YouTubers which was mainly just a test for my art skills and animations, and most of the basics like movement were already done by Thomas Brush's art kit. And all of these games have their own separate videos and are up on my itch.io page if you want to play the game for yourself. I also tried converting my FPS game from Unity to Unreal Engine but decided on sticking with Unity. Okay, my game development journey has been great, and I'm sure that 7-year-old me would be really happy to see what I'm doing today. But unfortunately, it might have to come to an end. I don't want it to end, but sometimes you're left with no option. I've been trying to juggle game development, YouTube, school, all at the same time. And until now, it has been hard but possible. But I have my GCSEs coming up in the next few weeks, and now juggling that along with everything else is going to be really complicated. And after GCSEs, life is just going to get more and more crowded. And I'm not sure if I will have time for game development. What I'm trying to say is this might just be my last year for game development if things don't blow up or go in the right direction. A few months ago, I would have blamed luck. But honestly, it isn't about luck. It's about hard work, and I've been procrastinating and have not been working as hard as I should for a dream that I genuinely believe in. And I now realize that, and I'm willing to work as hard as it takes because without game development, I am genuinely missing a part of me, the best part of me. The past 2 years have been easily the best years of my life. I finally wake up in the morning happy and excited to work on my game, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want this game development journey to end like this, the way all of my previous ones did. And I'm going to try and work as hard as possible this year to hopefully find a way out. But I need you guys' help more than ever now.